Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to this installation of the new operating system for your mind, body, and soul. I'm going to talk about superpowers in this video, and it may blow your mind. Just saying, but it's really cool information, and I'm gonna make it super short and sweet and succinct, but to simplify it to that level, it took years really of work, many months of working on specifically this thing. And the whole thing on superpowers sounds a little bit weird, like what are you talking about superpowers? And in reality, it's something super simple. It's just strengths. Some things we do well, some other things we don't do well, and that's just normal. It's just nature, right? Superpowers is this aspirational name for knowing your strengths so well that and developing them also so well that you become some kind of a superhero, right? Where these abilities are developed to a high extent. Now let me explain to you. So what I'll explain in this video is what is a superpower, I started doing that, and the process to get to somebody's superpower, but a very simplified process where a lot of the work that the person would be doing if they were to explain and to do that on their own has already been done by Sasha and Karisha. Okay, so here we go. People have strengths and weaknesses, abilities, right? And natural distribution tells us that if this is a graph of our abilities, then we would have a handful of weaknesses, a handful of true strengths, and the rest is like meh. I do them, and this is as compared to other people, right? It's just normal that abilities are divided uniformly among all human beings, and then there's all sorts of stuff, right? And we're going to say that there are hundred of those, and it's actually close to reality, because when we take the Enneagram test and we see what activities each type is specifically good at, there are about 10 per type, and there are 9 types. So it's actually quite true that there is 100 of them. Okay, now what we are after is this. We're after the top 3 abilities, natural abilities of a human being. Okay, so this is what we are after. Your top 1, top 2, and top 3 ability. Okay, now the way we do this is the following. First step is to take the Enneagram test and another test called multiple intelligences test. Multiple intelligences, let me speak about that for just a minute. There is a finding in psychology and in psychology of human development that there is not just one type of intelligence that humans have, as was thought previously, cognitive intelligence or IQ, but there is a whole bunch of them, right? And usually in schooling systems, it's only the IQ that you get the marks for. Sometimes EQ as well, emotional intelligence, how you present and how you express your thoughts through writing and things like that, maybe some essays. So there is an EQ component, but the rest of the intelligences are not really developed and not given marks for in school, yet they can be very powerful. And if there are 9, it's the same thing. Instead of 0 to 100, in this case, it's 0 to 9, or about 10. Actually, there are different approaches. Some systems say there are 7, some even find up to 25. So, but it's about 10 for average approach. Okay. So what we're saying is that every human being has 100 or so abilities on Enneagram system and 10 or so on the multiple intelligences system. So if we were, and again, in multiple intelligences, same thing, except weaknesses or weak intelligences and strong intelligences. Actually, I did it incorrectly. We're looking for these top three, not here. Sorry, I messed up. Just mathematically, to be correct, the logic stays, but mathematically, to be correct, we're looking after these three, okay? Where you're specifically stronger than other people. Same applies to multiple intelligences. You will have intelligences in which you're weak, in which you're super strong, and average. So what we're saying with that, if we were able, and listen, this is important phrase, if we were able to find for each individual their top three strengths through Enneagram or another approach, and then their top one intelligence through multiple intelligences test, we're talking about your top one is where you are 99th percentile, right? You're better than 100 of other people on that top one, okay? On your top two, you're better than 98% of people. Percentile, like in GMAT and SAT, that's what they, if you've taken those, they use that logic that you're better than 98% of the population. On the third one, you're better than 97% of the population, given that there is 100. And indeed, on Enneagram, there is about 100. And then again, there is a 1/10 on the multiple intelligences, or 1/9 to be. Because in the system we use, I think there are 9 in the test that we use. So if you multiply those chances, and if you average it out, if you say it's about 100, about 100, about 100, and about 10, or 1/10, 100s, 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 you get that if you were to know your top three strengths, your top multiple intelligences, you would know a combination of those three with the intelligence where you are better just by birth, just by your uniqueness, then we're talking about 2 zeros, 2 zeros, 2 zeros, and 1 0. So 6, 7 zeros.
10 million.
10 million people. That's huge. And it's very simple logic, okay? And now, the job is also to develop that so that you can be absolutely unique in the world in that ability. Okay, sounds great, I know, but is that practical? So let's talk about practicality and how that can be actually done and how difficult that is. And people have been trying to do this for a long time. There is all the assessments that businesses pay huge money for, that the Gallup Strength Finder, Clifton Strength Finder, other Strength Finder systems. People do Myers-Briggs, people do Hogan reports, people do this and that. And of course, what sells is this idea sounds very appealing. If I know what I'm good at, well, maybe I can do more of what I'm good at. And maybe I also enjoy more what I do. And yes, it's all true. But there is a problem. They give you this assessment, and there is no interpretation usually. You just read it, or your HR reads it with you, and that's all there is. It's vague, it's not actionable, and this is my opinion. You may have another opinion, but that's the opinion of mine, and that's my understanding that I've put together by speaking also with other people. And yeah, there's this problem that it's not actionable. Like, you don't know actually how to get to what you want. And what is it that we all want? Well, we want to love what we do, and we want to do what we love. Which means that you want to fill your day with activities that you naturally do well and enjoy doing, and you want to contribute to something that you believe in, that is worthy, that you like. And then this superpower, I think, can cater to both. If there was a way to first know your superpower, and second, project that onto these two spheres, that's the holy grail. Because you would be super unique by the get-go. And best of all, it's just enjoyable. It's just something that you like. You don't have to push yourself. Like who, say I, who hasn't been? Let's get some energy going. I feel you are a little bit tired. Okay.
Whoever doesn't know Tony Robbins won't get the tip.
We learned this from Tony Robbins the hard way. We don't like Tony Robbins too much, but we like him as well. So, where was I?
To be very unique.
Yeah,
who wouldn't like to be
because
doing what they do?
we have all been in jobs where our boss just wants to offload the dirty work, or they don't care what you do well. They don't care about that when they interview you. They don't care about that when you give it tasks. They don't care about that at any point of the process. No one cares. And, well, they kind of care if you ask them, but they don't know how to do that. And they try to do that with all this Hogan and Clifton, but they get stuck again because nobody knows how to interpret that. So here you go. Now we get to the actionable part. We want to get to this goal, and there is this appealing idea that I'm better than, well, not better, but a combination of my unique gifts is so unique and so powerful that I do it better than a lot of other people, and it's enjoyable. It's fun. It's my mind and my whole being is like, give me freaking more of that. For free, for money, for anything. I want more of that. And then of course you want to marry it with your professional activity, with something that can be also money generating, not just a hobby. So here's the process to get there. That was a long intro, sorry. I thought it would be faster, but shorter, but it was important to say this. I don't know, maybe not. So here, back to the process. First, people take the two tests. That's all that is required. The two tests give us the top intelligence, and they give us your top Enneagram types. Now, we go to the second step, and this gets this part, it gets very precise and actionable. So the second part is that we get 3 lists of, from the Enneagram type, we get 3 lists of activities, professionally oriented activities that that type does really well, okay? And there are about 10 of them.
That we've summarized.
Hmm?
That we've summarized.
That we've summarized. Yeah, we've gone through all the descriptions, all types of descriptions of the types of Enneagram, and we looked at it with at an angle of business, today's world. So took all the power of the Enneagram, all of the beauty of it, and all the depth of it, and all the science-validated version of it, the most scientifically validated version of it, yet you know, with all the psychotherapy and psychoanalysis angle to it, and all the spirituality and human growth angle to it, and not static but dynamic types, like what you can be at different levels of mastery, of self-mastery. So this was a lot of work actually. So we have these lists of about 10 verbs, and there is the top 1 intelligence that we'll be later working with, right? So we ask you to rank them. What appeals to you more, what you like doing. And there is people can use a prioritization grid to just make sure that there is one that really speaks to you. Okay, so the second step is to prioritize them for every person, okay? Prioritize them and pick the top 1 out of each list. So the lists is your top 1 Enneagram type, top 2 Enneagram type, and top 3 Enneagram type. The lists are the 10 activities that we have. And the job is to prioritize and pick 1 top activity in each. Okay, so as a result of this, we are at the point where we have the 3 activities, 1, 2, and 3, and we have the top intelligence. Okay, so that is actually your superpower. Okay, that is a super indicative of what you really enjoy doing and what you do really well and what we have always been doing actually throughout your life in different settings, in the professional setting, in the family setting, in the friendship setting, in the traveling with someone setting, and you've been showing up in the world like that, despite the job title that you had. Okay, so Karine, for example, can I give the example of Edwef? Her job was has to do with IoT and with bridging the community and with team creation, and she navigated naturally to what she does really well. So everybody at the forum, at the San Francisco office, knew her and had a very intimate one-on-one relationship with her. And she was like the glue that glued her team together, but also the center. And people went to her for consultations on like important matters. And it was not her job description, but she did that. And that was before we even talked about superpowers. So once we discovered this superpower thing, we both thought back, and she was like, "Yeah, I did that at my previous job, just because."
At all my jobs.
At all her jobs, and she wasn't paid for that. It was not part of the job description. People were it's really crazy. People were unaware that she was doing it, and she wasn't completely aware that she was doing it. Yet she was doing it. It's nuts. Now, wouldn't you want to find a job that makes you do that, but as a job, or as an activity, at least for a large chunk of it? Of course, you would. So here's your superpower. Okay. Now, this is kind of where this is. After that, it's the mapping process. It's a mapping process to. Oh, that's convenient. To this. To map it onto the. So, what are the activities that you like doing? What is it that you would like to contribute to translate, to map those 3 activities with the secret sauce of your top intelligence, to map it onto these 2 things. And these 2 things are also known in the world as, as like superpower, I would say, and mission. So what is it that you love to do? And what is it that you would love doing or love contributing to? Okay, now, how do we actually do that? How do we map the superpower onto these 2 things? Well, we have a process for that. We have a process for that. But you could then you ask yourself a question: what is it the goal? What is the goal? What do I want to get out of this? So knowing the superpower is great, and it unlocks a lot of stuff already just right there. You start noticing why you were doing things the way you were doing them. You start doing more of that. You start developing that superpower more because you start finding books that actually interest you. You start finding blogs and noticing which of the people that you know in your life have also a similar superpower, or which mentors of yours have that superpower, or which mentors you would like to have, or maybe which famous public figure that writes a blog or that you can follow or read their books has that too. And that all just lights up your whole being and makes you, but then you ask yourself, okay, we ask ourselves, what is the goal? And one goal is just be more authentic and just do what you like, be truer to yourself. Another goal, if you just did a job search or job marketplace, we aren't, but everybody also is, and thinking also about segments, just job search. How do I find a job that I like and that I excel at? And the other one is the mention of a team or organization. How do I build a team where people know their superpowers? They're used for the superpowers, and they're not used for their weaknesses, right? And that's, I guess, what we're after in this particular conversation. How do we build a team where people know their superpowers, they know superpowers of other people, same goes for weaknesses, and the work process is built in such a way that a person's superpower is used. The person is brought in to do something that they like, and then we can try that out on the CusDev process. We can try to be cognizant of that and see what tasks arise and who is best for that. And the next step for you guys, for us on this mission. So let me just again document what I said. So then it's what do you want as a result of that mapping onto the real world? Do you want to be more of an authentic self? Do you want to find a job that you love and enjoy doing, and do well, excel at it? Do you want to maybe get a graduate degree somewhere, right? And now we're talking about segments where this could be helpful. Choose what to study.
Create a team.
And then form a high-performing team, right? And by the way, there are companies that, not many, but there are companies that charge a lot of money for this kind of exercises. But we're doing this just among ourselves. And so there are all these nice activities. And then the last thing that I'll say is, okay, what do we do from now on with all this information, with all these approaches? So in order to, we can give you your superpower, and disclaimer, it won't be like there will be more space to work with it and to specify it, but learning your superpower, like a good shot, a good approximation at your actual superpower is almost unbelievable. Like, you must be asking yourself, is that true? Like, is this simple? Like, I take the test, like it takes me half an hour to take these 2 tests, and you're gonna give me my superpower? And it looks like yes. It looks like the answer is yes, and it's crazy. And let's try it together and see where that takes us. But even where we are today with Karime, I think the answer is yes. Yeah, I'm gonna give it to you. We're gonna give it to you. And again, not perfect, and boom, 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 all the explanations that I gave, and there is more disclaimer. Yeah, so let's do it. Most of you have taken the Enneagram test. In fact, I think all of you. Did Constanza take the Enneagram? I'm not sure, but if not all of you, then almost all of you. And it's by itself, as you may know, it's a brilliant, wonderful, amazing instrument of self-discovery, and there is so much more in there than just strengths and weaknesses. Okay, that's a whole another conversation. But most of you have taken this. So the multiple intelligences test, I'm going to send a link to everyone. Please take it. It takes very little. It's not as long as Enneagram. It takes maybe 5 to 10 minutes, okay? And you get your distribution of intelligences from the strongest to the weakest. Okay, and then I'll be able to give you we'll go through this step. You'll just have to prioritize the activities that we'll give you so that we get at this top 3 combination. We're going to send you your superpower, or you'll have it from that process. And then we'll go from there. Then we'll share them, and from here it's really like a little live process. So let's connect. Let's see where that takes us. Let's share them. Let's maybe, I don't know, discuss them. Karime and I have spent I don't know how many hours discussing our superpowers, because we went the hard way, like there is kind of a continuum of, and the 2 extremes are, you just get it on a plate, and this is where we are, is much closer to that, and this is complete self-inquiry. So no tests, no nothing, and Karime and I, we kind of did this, not full self-inquiry, because that would be sitting in a monastery and just coming up with all your Enneagram type and how your mind works, all the little nitty-gritty details. So we didn't do that, but we did a lot of brute force and and examination of the mind process. So now, thanks to that, we're able to move much closer to here and spare all this work to people and get to a wonderful approximation just by following a very simple process. Thank you.
Gracias, Sasha.